Well, have you ever been out at a restaurant and your child gives you all sorts of grief? I think it's a moment many of us parents can relate to. But have you ever gotten to the point where you'd love to tell your child to walk home? Dave Lieber did just that. He actually got arrested for it. The well-known columnist for the Fort Worth Star-Telegram wrote a book about it. Here it is, his experience and how it nearly ruined his life. It's called Bad Dad. But does that title actually fit this dad? Dave Lieber joins us this morning. Dave, good morning. Great to see you.
Thanks, Chris.
Really interesting book. Just tell our viewers exactly what happened.
Well, my son was 11. This was about 3 years ago, my youngest, and I took him to McDonald's for breakfast. And we got into an argument. He wanted to leave early. I was still drinking my coffee and reading the paper. And I told him, I said, unless you settle down, you're walking home. And he wouldn't. So I said, that's it, you're walking. And I sped walk out of the McDonald's so I wouldn't spill my coffee. Got in the car. He's pulling on the handle. I said, back off. I pulled out and I drove up the street. And I came back about 10 minutes later, and there were 2 police cars there and a crowd of people, and they looked at me with hate. And he was fine. And I was eventually arrested and charged with 2 felony counts of abandonment and endangerment for
pretty serious charges.
Serious.
I mean, you could do serious time for that.
Very serious charges. I mean, yeah, jail.
So what made you go back?
Well, I called my wife on the phone. I said, you know, I got so upset with him, I just told him to go walk home because it's across the street into the subdivision. It's not a long walk. And she said, you did what? You go back and get him right now. And so I did. I went right back, and there he was. And
this happened in Watauga, and as a columnist, you've written about the Watauga Police Department, pretty heavily over the past few years. How much did that do you think, played into what happened and how hard they came down on you?
Well, I can't really say because I can't read in the mind of the police, but I had written numerous stories about scandals in the department over the previous dozen years. The police chief lost his job. The city council, a majority of them got recalled in part because of things I wrote. I didn't have a lot of friends there. And people always said, don't speed through Watauga. And of course, I didn't, but you know, and this brought a larger debate. As this went national and viral and international, people started talking about what's the role of government in raising kids, and it just went huge, and I was just watching it and just amazed at everything that was going on.
And David, went national. You got suspended from your column.
Right.
How painful was, not just for you, but your family, especially Austin as well, your son?
Well, I was used to it because I was in the public eye. I've been a newspaper man for 30 years, but my wife and my 3 children, they were really in shock, and Austin especially he was afraid I was going to lose my job, my career, everything that we had worked for together. But I was really worried more about losing my family because Child Protective Services showed up at my door. And this really became a very serious thing.
Yeah, very much so. What's the relationship now like with Austin?
Well, you know, he's 14. I'm really proud of him. He's one of the best baseball players in the Metroplex for his age group. They won a tournament yesterday in Grand Prairie, the USSSA. They've won 3 tournaments in the last 3 weeks. He's just a great kid. But this is not something that we sit around the dinner table and talk about. You know, but he gave me approval to write the book. I dedicate the book, Bad Dad, to him. And I appreciate him very much and I say hello to him with a little Carol Burnett.
Nice.
I love you, man.
Yeah, there you go. Nice shout out to Austin. He deserves it. I understand the 2 of you recently took the walk home from McDonald's to your home. What was that like?
Well, as part of the research for the book, I thought, well, we should actually walk it and see what it was like. And it was a 14-minute walk, and I couldn't keep up with him. He's almost 6 feet tall now at 14, and he just walked so fast. He was back home in 14 minutes, and I'm struggling to keep up with him.
Was it awkward?
It was awkward, yeah.
You've said before, I've read that, you said the story's not about you.
Right.
It's about everybody else.
I agree.
What do you mean by that, Dave?
Well, I'm a speaker. I speak to groups all over Texas, and I learned it's not about me. It's about everybody else. And in this particular case, what it is that this kind of thing could happen to anybody. We live in a world today where people carry cell phones in their pocket and they pull it out, they film you. There was a Burleson tournament last week that Channel 8's David Schechter reported on where a father just pushed an umpire. It was captured on camera. He got in trouble. I mean, no matter where you go, what you do, you got to take a deep breath. You got to remember that you got to live your life like you're always on camera now, because you are.
Yeah.
There's cameras everywhere, and you know, there's nothing to stop anything on any day going viral. And it just ruins your life. I mean, it happens every day in this country. So I just want people to realize that they need to not be like me.
Yeah. Well, it's a fascinating book, and you learned it the hard way, obviously, with the cell phone generation now. But it's a wonderful book called Bad Dad. It's in bookstores now, and get it online as well, Dave.
Yeah, go to baddadbook.com and read chapter 1, and
it's fantastic.
Thank you, Chris.
Appreciate it. Good seeing you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.